concentrated in my life right now just because, the worst thing in the world was having to do 2 rounds of layoffs, man. And I got people well, this is what you should have done. Like, yeah, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, 100%. But, we're not so close-minded to think that we would have changed something to make sure that this didn't happen. And we're throwing everything at this. We feel like we've got a really, really smart team at 100 Thieves making decisions around how we're going to make money in the future. And I think there's a lot of entitlement from like a younger generation. I'm not sounding like I'm 40 years old over here, but I swear, man, you spend enough time on the internet and everybody's an expert. And certainly people that have not put enough time in to even earn the respect of having an opinion. And there's nuance behind that. I don't mean to sound like, oh, get off my lawn. You haven't been here. You don't deserve to have an opinion. But I just think that there's this mentality that esports teams and the organizations are just like running around with their heads cut off. It is not the case, man. It's not an easy business to have and run and operate and grow. And on top of that, it's like when everybody starts saying negative things about these teams, I'm like, well, guy, I mean, where do you think this is going to head? Salaries have come down significantly since we got into the league. Teams are having a tougher time, especially with the recession and the overall market. A lot of our partners got their budgets slashed and they're not making as much money. And I think that will rebound. The viewership is still there. And if anything, it's only growing. You can argue that viewership is growing because of the watch parties, but there's still a way for teams to monetize and be, these influential partners for these brands that are trying to invest in gaming and have more exposure. But I just feel like everybody wants everyone to fail. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, if the teams go under, then all these players that are living out their dreams of playing on a full-time salary and not having to work, and a lot of people that are here in esports have balanced that life. You're not making much money. You hope you can one day, doing the thing that you love, but you got a full-time job and you're trying to balance it. It's not an easy thing to do. And nowadays, I know that some people like to complain about teams dropping players too quickly or they're taking advantage of it. In certain cases, I'm sure players have been taken advantage of in certain situations. But, for everybody that wants esports teams to fail, I'm like, hey, well, players aren't going to be able to, we're going to go back to like betting on prize money and going and finding individual sponsors. Like, how are they going to compete and live this lifestyle? So I just think that there's a balance, man. I certainly believe that there is criticisms that the community can make around esports teams, but I also don't think that there's actually enough. I don't think empathy is the right word, but I don't think there's enough perspective for some of the really harsh and know-it-all takes that I see. I'm like, guys, you want to come trade places, man, I'll let you give it a shot, but good luck, seriously. And I don't even mean that in any other way. I just don't think there's enough perspective around the industry, and I think there's a lot of negativity, and I've certainly been fueling that in some way or another in the past, but I don't know. Again, I think it's just maturity or, I'm not trying to sound high and mighty or like I'm the most noble individual, like a higher sense of morality. I've seen every evolution of the gaming industry. I've seen every evolution of esports teams and the business that they build and what we're trying to do as a community, as an esports community as a whole. And I just think that there's just a bit too much negativity at every turn of the corner. No matter what you see on social, whether it's good or bad, there's always something met with, I don't know, a negative mentality or a negative approach. But I think that's just people in general. You can't really, no matter what, I think humans by nature focus on bad more than they focus on good.